let's talk about what are the technical things we can do to connect with the databases. So everything is practical today. So we are not going to see anything theoretical. So first thing is first, we are going to create one Python file here. So say that the Python database. So basically you are using the PG, that's called PG. PG stands for Postgres dot py. You can give any name. I'm just giving the reference name. Okay, so to begin with this Python databases Postgres, we have to first import some drivers. As I told you yesterday, Python is a different programming language. SQL is a different programming language. So there should be some bridge, some connector should be there. So that's where like we are going to use the uh, one of these third-party tool is called the PSYCOPG2. I'm going to install it, but you can type here PSYCOPG2. You can just go and install it this one. Okay, just copy this pip install PSYCOPG2. I'm going to this terminal. Okay, so installing this one. So to install this one, let me deactivate my current virtual environment. Okay, and here I'm gonna say this the pip install PSYCOPG2, but basically I'm using the two versions of Python in my local computer, so that's the reason I'm actually going through the pip3. Okay, so by default is pointing to the Python 2, so I don't want to be installed with Python 2. So I'm going to enter here. So basically, it's going to collect the all the information like pip3 install PSYCOPG2 and all. So it may take little time, so you can install it. Okay, so you may see some errors and all. It's very common, right? And also there is a supported file will be there. So what is a supported file? PSYCOPG2 hyphen binary. So let me type that. So this is may required when you are working in your Windows system and all. So PSYCOPG2 hyphen binary. Okay, this is latest version. You can download or copy this, go to this and download. Okay, so sometimes it may give some issues in the Windows system, but don't worry guys, it's already satisfied. So I already installed. So if you are issues with the PSYCOPG2, then try to install the binary file it supports. If you go and read here, it talks about the same thing. So it is also like a database adapter only, but it depends on which operating system you use, but both are same only, PSYCOPG2. It's a binary is a supported file. Maybe some operating system won't support. Either you can go with the PSYCOPG2 or hyphen binary. Okay, to clear this text, let it be. Now I'm going to write a programming to connect with these databases. Connection equal to, you can write here programming. So spelling is wrong. Connection is equal to PSYCOPG2 dot connect. Remember guys, so if you understand this code, and it is same for MySQL, it is same for Oracle, it is same for any SQL database. This connect, which is actually yesterday I spoke about Python DB API 2, right? So basically yesterday I spoke this one, right? The Python DB API 2. So basically what is this? This is a separate a application programming interface which is given by the Python. So whatever the method they are telling, so same methods we have to use it here. So I'm going to connect to the Postgres database by using this protocol. And this is nothing but PSYCOPG2 adapter, or in other terms, we can say connector. So in other terms, we can say it is a driver. Okay, different terminologies there. So let's begin with this. First one is the host. Host is like which server you are connecting to. So basically we are connecting to the local host. Okay, so sometimes you may connect to the remote server, sometimes you may connect to the any dedicated server. Of course, Postgres is not meant for dedicated servers, but we can write it. Okay, it could be possible. Okay, we can write it here. And also we can say that databases here, database equal to, and we can mention the name here. What is the database you are creating it? I will write it in shortly. And the username, and this is also we are going to write it. And password, and equal to, can write it here. And the port number, which is important, Otherwise, by default, it will take the default port number. Since there is an issue with my system, default port number is already occupied by with different service. So I have to mention this port number in my local. So then you can ask me the question, what are all these things, Raja? These are all like information we are providing to the adapter saying that this is what the database I want to connect with this. Okay. But if you can look at here, these names, okay, maybe the spelling is wrong. So you can see a host, database, user, password, port. These are all fixed variables, or we can say fixed parameter names or argument names. So these are all basically default arguments, guys. These are all default arguments. Basically, we need to pass here. You need to pass exactly the same names. Host name, you should not change it to the host one. It won't work. So you have to give this left-hand side of the equal to the same names will be always fixed. Host, database, user, password, port number. And typically this is not required. But since there is I'm using the different ports, I need to specify it. Okay. So I'm using the 5433 and the password is the admin. Okay. And the user is, okay, I think I need to go and check this one. It is a DS user. I will go back to here and use the DS user. And the database is also kind of, right? Okay, what is the database? Boondocks. Okay, I will give that same name, Boondocks. Okay, remember, I'm also going to show something here. Here, Boondocks B is uppercase letter, but I am providing in the lowercase. Okay, we'll see that. And username is same, DS user, password is same, port number is same, all is fine now. I want to check first of all, connection is established or not. So simple guys, there are multiple ways we can check. This is one of the way I am telling you to check this one and use this connection object. Okay, if I go and print this connection object, if it is printing some object ID or else some address location, that means you have successfully created the connection between your Python programming and the database. Let me go and print this. We'll see that. Okay, it's saying that Boondocks does not exist, right? Because I've given the lowercase letter, but if you look at here, the Boondocks is in the uppercase letter. B is in the uppercase. So what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to change this one to the B to small letter to the up, like uppercase letter. I'm going to execute this code. So the connection is established, right? It's giving the object, the connection object at some memory location. There is some memory location here. That memory location I'm seeing. For example, if I give the wrong port number, mine is actually 5433, but I'm giving here 5432. Now I'm going to execute this code. It's saying that, hey man, you are using the 5432, but unfortunately that is not available here to connect with this. So every information which is very clear, guys, who is giving this information, which is given by this guy, PSYCOPG2. Okay, this adapter is looking at this port numbers, passwords, usernames, database, and everything. It's trying to connect to that database, but the port number is wrong. It is throwing an error. Okay, anything, even tomorrow, mostly people will forget about the password. I'm giving the password is 123. Now I'm going to execute this code. You also see this, a password authentication is failed. Why I'm showing all these types of errors? Tomorrow, when you are writing this kind of code in your real-time applications, you may see sometimes this kind of errors in the log table or like log file. Okay, so that times you understand this password authentication failed means password is wrong and port number is wrong. That means it is unable to connect to that port number. Since it is a local computer, you are easily doing it. But when you are connecting to the remote servers, that's where the problem is. And this local host, you know, right? We can also write 127.0.0.0.1. Even if I go and execute this code, okay, the password is still not change it. Okay, executing this code, connection is established. So localhost is equal to 127.0.0.1. I'm able to connect to this database. Okay, so moving to the next one. Okay, connection is established. That should be fine. But what I have to do it here, I need to create a table inside this. Okay, have to create a table inside this database. So how to create it this? So first, before going to create, I need to prepare with the query. So query is like create table, some table name, and inside that there is some columns we have to create. So let's take some customer table, or like student table, or employee table, person table, any table you take. Okay, any table we can take, but I'm going with the customer table. Let's see this how it's going to be now. I'm going to use the object name is called the SQL query. So SQL underscore query, and writing a query here. So when you're going to write a query, this is going to be the multi-line code. So if there is a multi-line code, definitely I will go with the triple quotes string. So what is this? It's a triple quote string. I'm going to write a query here because I'm writing very clear query. So create, okay, table. So create table. What is the table name? Customer. And inside this, you can create, you can put some column names here. For example, ID, some ID, okay, that we can say customer ID or row ID, whatever it is. And I will make it one primary key here. So primary key and not null. So this is what I'm writing. Simply I'm writing in uppercase letters, just to, you can write in lower cases also, that should be fine. So customer will have the name. So name I'm writing in the text, and also not null, and you can write. And if you go to the, and also customer will have the age. Age is, if you want to take it, you can take it up, otherwise it is not required. So int, it is an integer always, and it should not be null. So it should not be blank. Basically name should not be blank, age should not be blank. I'm just giving this. And also we can take address. Okay, so address, we can put it as a character here, and that characters, you can go with the 100 characters or like 50 characters. So address, it cannot be more than that, we can write. Okay, and also we can put something like a salary here. So okay, maybe how much salary this customer has to approve the bank loan. Okay, that we can put it as here, or like so better we can keep it as a salary here. So how much salary is there to approve the bank loan amount, or like I will put it as the loan amount, better. It makes sense basically. Okay, I'm talking about bank customer here. So loan amount, this should be, you can write underscore, or like you can keep, but generally we will separate by the underscores when you're writing the column names. Okay, and this should be real, because loan amount, it sometimes is the float value. So we have to say in the SQL language, especially in the Postgres, we are going to use the real. Okay, so real, char, int, text, int. But when you are writing the same table in the Oracle database, so what you are going to write, so instead of char, we are going to use the varchar2, and we are going to use the say float. So different database may be different in the different databases, that we need to understand only for first time, because databases data types are different in the multiple databases. Okay, this is a simple SQL query where we are creating a table. Now I want to execute this query through the Python programming. Okay, that means I want to create this table in the database using the Python programming. Let's see this. Okay, we have a connection object. I don't want to print this every time, so I'm just leaving it here so we can see this later. And now what I'm going to do, right, I want to execute this query. How to execute this query, guys? Anyone guess? We need a connection object. By using the connection object, we need some pointer. Okay, so we are establishing the connection between the database and Python, but in between some postman is required. That postman is nothing but here cursor. So I will take the connection. So connection is the object which we created dot cursor. So, and this is also, actually this cursor we have to use every database whatever you use. It is called DB API 2.0, the same. So connection is one function, this connect is one function, cursor is another function. Two functions we are dealing with. These two functions are common. Okay, in this cursor we are not going to do anything, but we are creating object name for this. We can say, I will put it as a pointer to make it pointer, or like a postman or something we can say. Okay, so this pointer, what we'll do, right, this pointer dot, I want to execute a query. Okay, so if you want to execute a query, we need to pass this the entire table itself. Okay, entire table query. So what I'm going to do, right, execute and so inside this, we can pass this SQL query. Okay. So what I'm doing it right, we made a connection first. After the connection, we have the pointer. This pointer is nothing but, okay, I will take this query. I will, in the sense, this pointer will take this query and directly run into the database environment, in the sense Postgres database, through this connection. Okay, this postman use the service of this connection. Maybe this postman is working for some post office. Okay, so that post office information he will take and he will go and execute that information inside the database. Okay, he will deliver the address exactly, okay, where the location is. So now pointer dot execute this SQL query. I want to execute this. After this, let me put this print statement saying this table is created. So table is created. I will put it here. Okay. Now, if I go and execute this, before that, let me show you this PG admin. There is no any database, any tables are created here because we freshly created this table here. Yeah, you can look at here. There is no any table. So we just go and see now whether it is going to be created or not. Then there is no any spelling mistakes and all. Let's see this first of all. I'm executing this code. It's saying that cursor object has no attribute called. I think spelling is wrong. Okay, yeah, execute spelling is wrong. Okay, I think this is correct now. Let me go and clear this text. Execute again. Table is created successfully, but I want to cross check whether it is created in the database or not, or simply giving the message. So I want to refresh this schema. You just click on this refresh and go to the tables and still no. And we'll try to see this where it is created, guys, if it is not here. And I'll go to the tables. It's not created here. Create table. Yeah, correct. Table is not created. Can you anybody guess? Anybody database experts here? Why table is not created? Why table is not created? Any guess? Random guess.
I think
We
we
have
have
not
not
mentioned the database
committed.
name.
I
I'm
think we have
not.
not committed
Oh,
it.
exactly. Who said that one? Great. Yeah, we are not committed the transaction. Okay, that is very important into the SQL. Okay, you think like this code is correct. Yes, you are 100% correct. You are not going to do any changes here. Once transaction is created, that means what is the transaction is here? You are creating a table, deleting a table, or inserting the data, deleting the data, or updating the data. These are all transactions as per the database, right? When you are doing some transactions in your database, you should give the message. You have to tell that commit. Say, for example, if you're working on these tools like pgadmin or like SQL Server, like Management Studio, and there we don't need any commit statement, right? But automatically that Studio will take care. But something you are writing in the Python programming or Java programming, we have to commit the transaction. So once table is created, so before that, we have to create connection dot commit. Remember, guys, this is one of the famous interview question where we are writing this commit. We are writing this commit on the connection, not on the cursor. Okay, so we are committing the entire this connection. Okay, this connection dot commit. This is what we are doing it now. What I'm going to do, right? I'm going to create and I'm going to execute this code. Now I will go cross check again whether it is created or not, because I just given the commit transaction, so the table is created. Okay, so that is very important. We have to do the commit for every transaction, whatever it is. You are doing the DDL script or DML script. This is a DDL. DDL means data definition language. You are creating a table, that something is called the DDL. You are updating the table, or like you are inserting the data, or you are deleting the data. It's all about DML. Okay, data manipulation language. So that's where like these other concepts will be there. Now we are done with this, but if I'm by mistakenly you are going to execute this code again, you'll get an exception is called, hey man, there is already table is created, you are trying to create the table again. So duplicate table. This exception is provided by the PSYCOPG2. It is a duplicate exception. It should not be. So in that case is what we are going to do, right? We are going to write not this. We are going to write this query, okay, you're executing the SQL query. That SQL query, you can make it into the try block. So you can put it as a try block here, and you can make the except and colon, and so here we can write whatever the exception it is. So I'm just writing this commit here, okay, and in the except block we can write, so there is a DB exceptions also there, but we don't touch this. For example, let me go with the exception first. I will talk a little later about the different types of exceptions. I want to print these exceptions. Generally we don't print the exceptions. I'm going with the actual real-time code only. We need to import logging, and so this logging we have to use it here. Since this is an error, we have to use the logging dot error, and we have to give the message for error. Yes, in the sense something went wrong, so table is created already, our table is duplicated, or something we can write some meaningful one. That's up to you. And if you want to print this exception, guys, so we can use the as E, and you can print this E. E stands for exception here. It is alias name. So that's what we are seeing it here. So table is created, but one more important thing, there is a finally block we have to write. Most of the people this missed out, but if you're a good programmer or good developer, we have to always close the connection, okay? So connection dot close. So we need to connection closed. So because you open the connection, you have to close the connection. Whether the exception raised or not raised, it doesn't matter, but the connection is opened. You have to close the connection once you are done. Okay, so I will use this print statement. Instead of print statement, I will use the logging dot, and we can give the message like your info, because it's just like information only. We are giving that table is created. Okay, so that's where like we can create tables, and you can check the Excel. This is actual code, guys. Okay, this is actual code, and to rename it, it is actually table query. So especially if you want to say exact name table and a square, and we need to give the proper customized names, because these are all makes sense when you're working on the big projects. It is one table, two tables is okay, but when you are working on the large applications, we need to provide the proper information. It is a table customer query, and table customer query, we are executing it and we are seeing it. So now if I go and execute this code, I'm getting an exception here. Table, this is kind of an exception we got now. Okay, so table is created. The table is created is the message, right? It's a message. We are seeing it here. So table is created. One second. What went here? Table commit and okay. We are executing the table here. One second. There is something went wrong. This is not expected. Okay, so exception as G, logging error, table is created. Yeah, fine. Since it is a logging, right? That's the reason we are getting this message. But I will maybe mostly tomorrow session or something, I will talk about logging, which is very important going forward. We use a lot in upcoming codes and all, because logging is very important. When you have some time also, you check that. Okay. So any questions here? Anybody have any questions? Okay, I'm going to give one small tip when you're using on the
Raja,
VS Code. Yeah, go ahead, please.
yeah.
Asu.
Raja, can we use a save pointer
No, here, no, actually. Yeah.
instead of comment? See here, connection we are committing, right?
Hmm.
So we can use a save point, right? I mean,
Yeah, its save point is not there here, basically, in this API.
oh, okay.
So that's the reason we need to study. These are all API 2.0 functions. Connect is API, I mean, Python is mentioned this one. Python is saying that you use any database adapter, whether it is a third party, whatever it is, but you have to use these functions. Connect is one function, cursor is one function, another one is the close, another one is the commit. These are all, but save point is not. Rollback is there. You can roll back the transaction if you don't want to be insert that by mistaking you insert the data, but you don't want to be permanently stored. Commit is nothing but you are storing the data persistently. So that's where this commit come into the picture. So we don't really need it here. Okay. And so I'm just giving one small information here. It is not related to the database. If you're using the VS Code, guys, and go to the settings, you see, I don't know how many of you know it. If you want to save this, if you want to make this code is the formatting, you don't need to worry about it. Even, for example, if I write, so if I write, you can see here, equal to, after that I'm not giving the space. If I do the Control S, automatically space will come. This is nothing but formatting your code, whether you are writing the Java, Python, whatever it is. If you want to make formatting by after clicking the Control S, it will take care. So you can go to this VS Code settings, and you can type here format on save or something is there. Okay, you can just click on this. So I'm just giving a suggestion here. If you're working on any large code, so you don't need to about even HTML formatting or like this formatting. This VS Code is having so many features, guys. You just click on this, which will give the more features to you. Okay, try this option, which works very well. Okay, so moving on to the code, just I want to share that information. And moving to this is we are done. I want to create data. I want to insert the data. So this query is not required now because since we already done this step. So I'm going to do one small thing here. I will say that insert data. So insert data dot py. So in this, what I will do, right? Already I created that all the steps. I will use the same steps here, because what I'm going to do, right? I'm making this connection separately in the different file, and instead of this table customer query, I'm going to write insert the query. Okay, so what I'm going to do, right? So it is an insert insert underscore SQL query, and equal to, and we can write a query here. So basically it is again triple quotes. You can write even in the double quotes also, but okay, that's not an issue. I'm writing now insert into, what is the command, guys? I want to insert the data. Anybody knows here? I want to insert a data into the database table.
Insert
You can,
customer
yeah, go ahead.
and put the parentheses and put all the columns, and after that values and all the values that we want to put.
Exactly, you are right. So I'm writing in small letters. Okay, let's see this address. And the last one, we are given the what is the income, or like what is loan amount, right? Okay, let's go to this insert and use the loan amount here. Values of, okay, so in these values of, we need to provide the data. So what values we have to provide here? ID is okay, 1, and what else is there, guys? I want to bring down this one to the below. Okay, so here I will put this, or else we'll go with this. Okay, the values of, next, ID is this one. The name is, for example, I'll put John, and the age is, for example, 37, and he lived in New York, and we'll go for the loan amount is, for example, $10 million or something like, okay, so 1,000 million or something, whatever it is, you assume whatever it is, $1 million or $1 billion, it's up to you. Okay, this is the query, insert SQL query. Now what I'm going to do, right, guys, I want to execute this query. Okay, so what is the execution? Same code, nothing is different. We have to make connection dot cursor, and same query. I'm writing it here. Why I'm writing the same code again and again, I will tell you. I'm going with the flow. So here I'm using the pointer, same pointer is equal to connection dot cursor, and the pointer dot execute. We are executing the SQL query. So let's try to install it. Execute this one. Okay. Now I want to, so this query is going to be executed, and after this we need to do the commit transaction, definitely, right? So connection dot commit, and once you done commit, and we can close the connection dot close. Okay, I'm not writing here again same try and except block, but you have to write it here. There is no any escape. A good programming is always written in the exceptions. It's like what we have done in the previous code. Okay, in similar fashion we have to write here, but I'm not writing here, but just you can understand. Okay, I want to execute this code. It's simple. I want to insert the record. into the new the table which we created. Okay. So just to give one small print statement here, just to ensure that there is no issues. Okay. So record is created. Okay. So yeah, execute this code. Record is created, but I want to cross check whether it is created or not, and refresh, and so okay, you can, this is the table, right? So when there is a table, you can click on the view data and view all rows, or else you can directly write a query. So anything is fine. You can see I just now created the data, like John, age, that is 37, address is New York, and the loan amount is something 1000.45. So basically what I'm going to say here, when you are going to create any SQL query, okay, I mean, you're inserting the data or like doing anything, you have to pass that query to this execute command. It is the execute function on the pointer. So it is basically a cursor function. So in the cursor, we are actually sending this information. Okay. So insert SQL query or like anything. So now I'm changing this data, guys. So previously this guy is John. Now I'm changing to this one is the robot. Okay. And so he is in the Melbourne. So I'm just giving the MB, and his age is 45. And this one is the 340 or something like this. Okay. Now again, I'm going to insert the record. So it's absolutely fine. So no need to go and check again, view all rows, already query is there. You just go to here. There is a command here. And this command, if you click here, and automatically this will execute this. Select star from the customer ordered by ID. So public is the schema here. We can create multiple schemas. For example, dev schema, test schema, production schema, and pre-production schema, like that. We can create multiple schemas. It depends on the project environment. But you can see here, the default one is the public. But if you're working on the SQL Server, DBO, database owner will be there. It depends on that. Okay. But in Postgres, by default, we'll have the public schema. We can create multiple schemas. Okay. So select star from the public.customer, order by ID. Even if I'm not giving this one, no problem. Okay. Even if you're not giving this otherwise, okay. But if you want to execute the same code normally, you can go to this SQL and you can write it here. It will also execute. Or else you can select here this schema, and you can click on this query tool. You can also go and write the query here. Okay. So for example, I want to see two ways we can do it. If you're not good at writing the queries, you can go to the click on this customer and click on the view details, view data. No, if you are good at the writing the queries, and you can use the query tool. Okay, that how we can use the query tool. Either you can go on the table wise, or we can go on the schema wise. Okay, schema wise, under it is there. So for example, I'm writing your customer. The customer is the table. So by default, it will take the public only. I'm executing now. You can see same thing. So either you can go with the view all rows, I mean user interface, or writing the query, both the ways. Okay. Now moving to this code, what you already have in the 1, 2 John robot and 3745. This data is there. But when I'm creating this table, I said ID is the primary key, right? So what I'm going to do right now, this insert data file, I'm going to change a little bit. I will keep this ID is the 2, but I will change this name. Okay. This name I will change to the different names. For example, band, and here it is the 55, and here I can say it's a delete, and we can say this one is the 7890. If I go and execute this code, do you think it's going to be work? No, right? It will throw an error. So look at the error instead of looking at the insert query. Look at the error, because mostly we debug the errors, right? It is giving the clear information, guys. Hey, there is a unique violation, duplicate key value violates unique constraint, right? So basically the customer key, it's a primary key. Key name is actually the ID here, primary key, but there is equal to 2, which you are passing. Clearly it is showing that ID 2 is already exist. But because you can see in the database, ID2 is there for the robot with the age 45 and all, but you are trying to create with a different person, but it is not able to take it up because of ID. But when you change this one ID to 3, it will work. Okay, so that is the significance of primary key. So we should not allow the duplicates with the same ID, because if you take the employee ID, customer ID, or student ID, these IDs are always like unique. The primary key is equal to, okay, unique key plus not null. Always remember this small tip. Primary key is equal to unique key, to unique key, and I can say plus and not null. It should not be null, and it should be unique. That is always primary key in the database. Okay, it should not send the null data, and you should not use the any duplicate value. Basically, that's where the primary key comes. Now I inserted the 3 rows here, and you can see I will let me insert one more row, and because we are going to do some operations here. Okay, because we need some data, so that's why. So I'm going to use another data here. Say that, for example, Trump, and his age is, for example, 78, and Washington DC, and we can give another different name here. So 87654. I'm giving some value. Okay, now I'm going to execute this code. It's fine, row is created. I'll cross check this one after executing this query. I got the 4 records. Yeah, new record is getting added. Okay, fine. So this is insert data, guys. Okay, I will come up with this end of this insert, delete, and all. I will give you some information because we don't write like this in the real-time projects, and I will tell you that how we are going to write, because every time we can't go and create a connection for insertion, creating the table, deleting the data. It's all really, you are making the redundancy code, so we should not write like that. Okay, but I will tell you how to do it. For time being, just understand, we need a connection, we need a query, and after that, by using the cursor, we are executing the each query, and after that we are committing the transaction. Okay, and most importantly, people will neglect line number 25, the connection dot close, which is mandatory. Otherwise you will face a lot of issues in the real-time production, or like some any environments if you are executing it once connections are opened. Okay, now I'm going to create one more Python file, delete records. Can I use the delete records? How to delete the records? First of all, let's focus on the update records, then we'll go with the delete records, because we need some data. Okay, so update. Okay, update records. We'll quickly finish this one, because only, so I'm going to copy this entire code, guys, because don't need of writing the same code. And this query is going to be changed. Okay, and this is not insert query, this is an update query, update SQL query. This update SQL query only change is, okay, so I'm just writing it here. And what is the query, guys? Can you please tell me? So for example, let me tell you the scenario. I want to update the robot age 45 to 65. I want to update robot age from 45 to 65. So how we are going to do it here? Okay, assume that maybe in your case, maybe multiple robots are there. It can be duplicate, right?
Update customer
Yeah.
set
Update,
age
yeah, update
value
customer set
65,
age.
where ID is equal to, where name is equal to John.
No, name, okay, name is okay, but in this scenario is okay, but in generally not preferred to use, because we have to use the primary key. Yeah, name is also works, because here robot is only one guy, but if we have the duplicate robots, I mean multiple same entry is there with a different robot, and last name, first name is different, something like this. So better to always go for the ID in the sense primary key. So I will use the primary key is the 2, right? Correct, robot is 2. Let's go on now, execute this code. We are done with the query. What is the query? Update table name, set column name is equal to new value, where the primary is equal to primary key value. So basically this is the query. I'm executing this code. You can see record is updated. I want to cross check this one in the database if it is created or not. Yes, it's created. 65. 65, it's getting added, right? So that's where like we can update the records. So you can update the multiple records and okay. So this is how it works. Now I want to delete, before going to delete, more important thing, guys, I want to work on select. Delete I will do at last. It's not a big deal. Okay. So next important thing is retrieving. This is not the thing which you think like it is easy, but we have to understand there are three different functions are there in this Python to get the data. So retrieving the data or like selecting the data, I can say very simple understanding. Selecting the data, okay, dot py. So what I'm going to do, right, I will use the same connections here, okay, there is no any change. So we'll use the same connections. You go to this selecting the data, but here code will change, functions will change, idea, little idea different here, okay. This is not a table query and we don't need the table query here. It's a SQL select query. So I can say disable select query, table select query, okay, or record select query. It's not really table because records from the table, basically, whatever it is. So this is the query which we are going to use it here, execute function. Okay, what is the query, guys? We can give the select star from into table name. What is the table name? Is the customer. Okay. So right now there is no any where conditions here. Where conditions nothing but if you want only like New York based customers or like you want age less than 55 people. Those are the different queries we have it, but I'm not going in that much. But we are writing very simple query here because we are selecting the all the customer information. So when you're going to execute this code, if I go and say that table is data is retrieving or something, it won't work, guys. Okay, so we have to change this code a little bit. So this is the what the pointer. I'm going to use the pointer is equal to what I'm going to say that this pointer is dot cursor. This cursor is okay. So I will say this is the pointer. Right. Already I've written, right? I am writing. Pointer is there, pointer dot execute. Pointer dot execute. So in this execute function, we are writing this table select query. But you'll see this results, and I'm putting it as the results. And if you go and print this, we don't use the directly because you are not inserting, you are not doing anything on the database. You are getting the information from the database to your Python object. It's a little different, guys. So far, whatever actions you performed, that is on database, but this is something you are doing, getting the data into your Python programming. So what we can do now? So basically, we are going to do here something a little different. Okay. So what we can do now? Anybody guess? So let me print this result, then you will understand. Okay. I'm printing the results here, execute this code, and none is printing. Then how? I'm executing this query, I got the none results, but there is a lot of data is there. So how to work on it? So here in this case, so we have to deal with a different manner. Let me tell you, you'll understand now. This result sets, this is nothing but results dot, we can use the function, okay? But this results is not having anything. So we should not use the results. So we have to use the pointer dot, basically this information is there on the pointer, fetch all the rows I want, okay? And this all the rows, right? So I will put it as a rows is equal to pointer dot fetch all. If I go and print rows, you will come to know the actual thing what is happening here. If I go and print this, I got all the information from the database. So basically this data is like this. So instead of looking at the output, can you please spend some time here at line number 19? Okay, what we are doing at line number 19, guys, we're actually doing right. So we are executing the query. We are executing the query, and by using the pointer, I am fetching the data. Now you can ask me what we are doing with these results. Are you doing anything with this results object? Okay, are doing anything results with this object? So in this case, we don't want this results object. Okay, just you can leave it as like this. Okay, so pointer is equal to connection dot cursor and pointer dot execute, and once you execute, that pointer is holding the data, the data. It's whether there's 4 records, 40 records, 40 lakhs records, doesn't matter, it will hold by this pointer, and it is giving the whole data into the list format. This is a list, it is a Python list. hey man, I don't want to print in the Python list. Can you please print one by one? It's very simple. Rows is a list for each row and a square, and in rows we can say that, and print of and each row. Can you say like this? You're printing the each row now. It's nothing but each item from the list. It's a Python code. Okay, executing now. We got the John 37 UR conduct. Man, I don't want to print the like this tuple. Each item is the tuple here. I understand, but I don't want to print. I want to print names of the persons. So then, case what we can do, guys? Can I use the 1th index? This is John is the 0th index is 1 and first index is John, and a second index is 37 like this, because tuple is actually based on the index based data type, right? So if I go and print this, execute this code, I'm getting the output is John, Pant, Trump, and Robot. These are the names of the customer names from the table, right? You can go and execute this code and you can see. So if you want, no, I don't want, I want even their loan amount. Okay, it's very simple. So can I use like this? I can go here and each row, and we can use the last row is that one, right? So we can give -1. So can I use the -1, guys? If I go and execute this, -1 is nothing but what? It's a last item in the given sequence data type, whether it is a tuple or a set, tuple or a list, even in the string, right? So others you can give length -1, anything is fine. So this is where I am seeing the John, and you can mention that it is a like loan amount. You say that loan amount. Okay, you are just writing. You are actually bringing this data from the database and you are writing out. So any questions here? Anybody have any questions? Any questions? Okay, so fine. What is this fetch all? First, we need to focus on this. Fetch all is to fetch all the records. No, Raja, I don't want all the records. I want only few records. Okay. Now there is a fetch many and fetch one. Fetch one record is also there. Let's focus on first fetch one. And if I'm going to execute this code, what will happen, guys? You'll get an exception. Okay, let's see this. Spelling is wrong. Fetch one. Yeah, I'm executing code again. Okay, basically it is not subscriptable, means it is not giving the list, guys. So you can keep this code into the comment section because it is not required. So what I'm going to do, right, I will use the print statement and rows and execute this code. Now I'm executing this code. Basically it is one row only, not even rows, just like one record you are fetching it. Basically you are fetching the first record from the table, right? It's a first record from the table. Hey Raj, I don't want first record, I want some records from the table. Then in case, again, I'm just going to keep this one. Fetch one is only one record, that is the first record, and fetch many is there. So fetch many means you are pulling the, like, how many records you want. You want 2 records from the given records, like, then in case you can go like this. You can give 2 records means 2 records will come. If you give one record will you can fetch. If you're giving the 3 records, you can get 3 records. Okay. So in the given data, how much samples you want? It's nothing but many is nothing but samples. So what is all this drama? What is this? What is the fetch many and all? Where these are all coming up? That's what I told you in the previous session, guys. The fetch one, which is there on the so I'm going to the Python. I don't want any other website other than that python.org. So this is where like the database API. Okay, so whether you can use a SQLite tree, anything, but actual database API specification is mentioned. These are the functions basically. So for example, if I go and search this fetch one, and you can see here. So fetch one, basically, this is the function, right? Fetch one, fetch the next row of the query result set, and fetch many is there. You need to mention the size, how much size you need, and fetch all is like getting the all the rows from the query result, right? This is where like we have. So these are the functions These are the functions I've defined it. Maybe you think like some people may ask you the question, can I call the procedures through in the Python programming? You can say answer is yes. We have something called call proc, which is the method is optional since it is not database provided stored procedures. So we can call the stored procedures by using this call proc method basically. Okay, when you are dealing with the procedures in your database, especially in the Oracle and all, right? The close is actually uses the internal del command to close the connection. Okay, we have to close the connection like that. There are so many things, guys. So you may see something called execute many. Here I'm executing one query. For example, in the previous code, what I did, right, not mention this one. If you go to the insert data, here I insert the one row. Okay, but if you want to insert the multiple rows, you can create a SQL query 1, query 2, query 3, query 4, query 5. You can give those queries in this execute command separated by the comma. Then all the queries will be executed at a time. What I mean to say that if you want to insert the 13 records or 40 records at a time, then you create all these insert queries for the 40 records and give those objects into separate by the comma, then code will be executed. Okay, this is how it will be there, and basically that's how we use this Postgres. So any questions, guys, here? Anybody have any questions? Anyone have any questions here?
What if we don't close the connections? Means any serious, I mean, any serious issue will happen? Like,
Yeah, so in a local computer, it won't happen any issue. You don't see it also, but it's going to be a very serious issue when we are actually not closing the connection in the production servers. So let me tell you one scenario. I think I already explained to you. I mean, guys, in previous sessions, assume that you open the browser and you open the one website. There you are logged in and you are doing something like you're inserting or like updating your profile, whatever you are doing it. But after that, you close your laptop, but connection is not closed. Means the developer who developed that application, so he or she is not mentioned the connection close. So what will happen, right? The connection will be still there. Again, one more person is open that website, and again he did something and he went off. He log off also fine. Okay, log off is okay, but connection is not closed. Like that, multiple people are logged in the website. The connection is not closed, and there is a limit in the server, and when there is it reaches to the maximum connection pool objects, then you'll get an exception called server 500 error, server not found error or something. 500 error will get. Okay, so 404 is like file not found or like page not found, but this 500 is something which is related to the server. It's okay, we can understand internal server error. Okay, the error name is the internal server error because of the connection pool is maximum. Maybe 30 connections are there, 40 connections are there. Yes, it leads to that one. Yes, I'm going to show you this one how it's going to be. We are going to use the Heroku app to deploy our AI models. Then definitely you are going to see. I will ask you guys to everybody to open that website at a time and try to do it. I will make the pool is like 5, but 10 people log in and don't log off. Just close the browser, and I will show you that how it's going to be. Okay, you'll get an experience on this. Yeah, it is a matter like your site will go down. So basically, it is a big matter. So site should not go down, right? So again, you kill the connections, then your site will go and up, or restart the server, it will go up. There are two ways we can do it. Okay. So any other questions? Okay, connection.cursor. Please explain this again. I don't understand this. Okay. It's very simple. Okay, let me tell you. So you have the Python. This guy speaks some language that's called Python only. The another guy is the Postgres. This guy speaks which language? SQL. This guy is separate guy. So in between we need basically a connection. So connection is nothing but checking the all usernames, passwords, and host name and everything. Okay, but to do some action on this Postgres, we need someone to do action. Okay, see, you have a ticket to travel to some other place, but without airplane, we cannot travel, right? And something like this, I'm just correlating it. So we need some cursor here. This cursor is nothing but Postman. So you understand this connection is like a bridge. So connection is nothing but a bridge between the Postgres and Python, and but you're actually using the cursor. Okay, cursor is the airplane. It's taking the data from the Python to Postgres. What data it is going to take in from the Python? In the Python, you are writing this SQL query. Thus, SQL query will take this cursor when the connection is established. Connection is bridge. When there is a bridge, then cursor can travel. And if there is no bridge, cursor will not travel. So cursor will take the information from the Python, that is the SQL query, will execute on the database, because SQL query means what? This is SQL query. This query works only on the database. Okay, only on the database, not in the Python. But you are using the Python code to give the instructions to execute this code, basically. Okay, so cursor is a postman is taking the data from the Python, executing the query on the Postgres when there is a bridge. If the bridge is not, connection is failed, cursor will not move. I hope you got with this example. If not, I will explain in different way. Okay, fine. So next query is to delete the data. So I want to delete the one record or two records. So can you please guess? Okay, so I'm going to use the delete record. So .py. So you have to remember in this today's session is main thing is fetch all, fetch many, and fetch one. So this is something you are getting the data into the your database. So for example, you can see this data once you get, you can also send this data to the files. See here I'm using the print statement, or else instead of this you can use the files. Okay, you open the file here. For example, you can say file is equal to open the file and say that it is a data.txt. Okay, and we can open the file into the read mode. Okay, because why I'm talking about these concepts we spoken right in the previous sessions, definitely. So file is equal to open data.txt and w mode. And what are we going to do, right? Use this file rather than using the print statement. Just keeping this print statement here, use this file dot, and you can use the write. So in the write function, you can in the write. So for example, this each row and all is there, right? This I'm going to take it into the one string, or like you can pass. For example, let me send this data to the each row. You can use the row here, and let me do it first. Then we can see whether it works or not. Do you think it's going to work, guys? So file dot write, and I am passing the each row. I'm going to execute this code. Write argument must be tuple, but the file is created here. What is that data.txt? But there is no data. Do you think what happened here? Basically, we need to pass the string, okay? But you are passing the tuple. So how we can do it? So you can see here, select the data, file.write, and each row. This is the data.txt, but this file is already created. I will use the W plus mode if you want, or like W is enough. Again, it will be overridden. So how to send this data, guys? I have the row, each row. I am sending this each row, but it is saying that write argument must be a string, not tuple. Okay, let me do it this way. I will take one value. Now it is a string. Did you got it? I'm going to execute this code. I'm not getting any exception. I'll go and check in the data.txt. Yes, John Pan Trump. Okay, all this data is there. But if you want to make this data, but before sending to the file, you need to format that one. That is up to you. Okay, this is not formatting well, but you need to format it. Okay, so that's something you need to take care before writing this file. Use something called string formatting, and you can send the data. Even if you have the data in the tuple, you can convert the each data into the string, and we can send it to basically file.write function, which takes the string data, not the tuple. Okay, so we can send the line by line also here. Okay, we can take, for example, see this, whether it works or not. Go into this. No, it's not working because of, I understand that, because the whole thing is considered as one row. So that's why. But you can write some code here. You can try this. This is one of the assignment to you. If you can try it, try to send the database data into the different file. Okay. Then we'll see this, how it goes. The last one is delete the records. So how to delete the record? So in the insert data, whole thing I am going to copy paste, keep it here. I will change this insert SQL query to the delete query. So what is the delete query? Anybody guess? I'm using the delete query, delete SQL query. So tell me guys how to write this query.
Delete from customer where ID is equal to 2.
Delete table.
Delete from customer.
Important, these are the
Where
basic.
ID is equal to 2.
There's some ID, okay? For example, okay, you want to delete it. Okay, I will delete this 3, okay? So ID is equal to 3. Okay, this is the delete SQL query. So here also I'm going to keep the same thing. Connection record is deleted. You can also mention how many records deleted. You have to take the count. Everything can be possible here. So execute this. Go and execute this query. So record is deleted, and I want to cross check this one. That's gone. Row ID 3, which is deleted now. So we can delete. So that's why it works, guys. You can delete. So basic whole thing is here, these commands. We will think, right, hey Raja, I don't know all these commands, but you are saying, but you should know it because we are to the data science. At least the basic queries you should know. And it is not going, because these queries are almost all same in all the databases. Okay. So maybe I'm not talking much here in depth, like I'm not talking about joins, I'm not talking about triggers, I'm not talking about procedures, I'm not talking about functions. There are many things are there in the SQL. But when it comes to the joins, there is the inner join, outer join, left outer join, right? And that is also there, but that is where we are dealing with the multiple databases. But in general, we don't use the plain Python code. Either we go for the Django or we go for the Flask or something. We don't write plain database queries or plain database code in the real-time projects. Okay, just we use some MVC framework, something like which deals with the database and it deals with the presentation layer or like model layer or database model layer. So basically we use the a framework. That where is the different scenarios will be there. So I'm planning to take one Django session. It's going to be 2 to 3 hours of live, and there we are going to show you the complete one project, guys. Django. So 3 hours live. I don't know how many can stay with me for the project, but I'm going to explain some project, a new project. Either I will take the chat box, how to prepare, not the chat bot, a chat box. So or else like we can create something like supply chain management, or we can use the uh, something new project I'm going to do presentation maybe in this week, not in our hours, in different hours. I'm planning to do it. Maybe you'll get some idea about the Django, okay, and you'll get. But how many of you people will stay with me in that live coding? I don't know. If you want to do it parallelly with me, also do it. But I will go from the scratch to the next level. Another 3 to 4 hours. It may go for 5 hours also. I don't know if it is one person is also there with me, no problem. But I love Django a lot. Okay, I will write one small project. Okay, that we can plan in the weekend, especially on the sometime. Okay, that we can discuss after this sometime. Okay, we can discuss at the end of the session. Okay, so we have the delete record, insert data.
Rajan,
Yeah, go ahead, please.
yeah, you told about one framework, right? Can you please tell me what's the framework?
Which one? Which regarding which framework? Which one you are talking about?
Just now you spelled one framework we are using something.
Django. Okay, so people used to say it is a Django, but actually we need to pronounce it as a Django. D is silent. So people say it is a Django, but don't say Django. It's a Django. Okay.
Okay.
So it's very important. I will discuss with you guys. I will go with 3, 4, 5 projects also if you want. Flask also we are going to do one project, because Flask and Django is going to use to display the our projects. Okay, so we need front end, right? Someone's to upload the images and do the and all. Okay, so I am telling you that what are the sessions is going to be interesting in entire our journey. Neural networks. Okay, so the deep learning and neural networks is going to be very good sessions, because I will tell you very layman language. Okay, you understand very easily the concepts which I planned. But to understand those things very much, because that time, by the time we need to ready with these databases and all, it is good to know. Okay, maybe in the March we can start neural networks. So in another 1.5 months we'll go with different tools now. Okay, fine, that is okay. That's we can plan it later. Yeah, in weekend we'll work for Django. Yeah, definitely. We can do easily building the applications. I don't know. Do you guys agree, or like do you think okay? I'm going in the out of the topic. People are silent. Is it getting okay? 11:15. Maybe that is the reason. Why nobody is not talking?
No, it will be great. Means today's session was really awesome,
Yeah.
and working on the weekend for Django will be also great.
Yeah. So we'll work on it. We'll try to see it. Okay. Fine. So this code you try to execute. My question now, okay, Raja, all the story you said, but how to get? Okay, I'm going to tell you one website. You can follow them. I think already I spoke in yesterday, but the same website I'm repeating here. What is that? Postgres. I forgot the name. Postgres SQL tutorial or something. Okay, I'm writing something. Okay, you get the first website only. You can go to the first website. It is dedicated to the Postgres. I think this is what I given the link yesterday. Go to this, whatever I said, everything is there here. Okay, I've given only for the select but these are all like information, guys. If you want to understand the Postgres SQL, you understand this is the website. Hey Raja, this is only for the Postgres. Where is the Python? This is not for Python. This is just for Postgres. You just understand how to write a query, where query, limit query, fetch query, in query, between query. Like if you want to be strong, this is one of the best website. You can easily write, for example, self-join. You don't know what is a self-join. Just go here. This website is an awesome website. And if you go to this, you select the table from select some information, whatever the list you want from the table T1, inner join table T2 on join predict. So you try to do it. Okay, these are the tables like this. This is the hierarchy of the tables. Self joins we can create. We can create a tables like this. This is understanding the SQL. So you can ask me the question: is it really needed the SQL to for the data science people? Yes, SQL is very important, because you're dealing with the data where it is there, database. So you should know the SQL queries and all. So get it done this one by next 1 or 3 days. And these queries are very important. Try to understand these joins. If you're not understand in the normal flow, I will explain you with some diagrams. So even if you're not understand that way, I will tell you some tips. So join tables or SQL tables. How I study, guys, I study with the images, because I don't read text, because sometimes I feel like it's a little bored. You can use these kind of images. You understand what is this joins and all. There are two tables, A and B, that is a customer and bank, and you can join those customer and bank. There is employee and employee company, or like employee branch or something. There are different tables. We can use it. These I love to read these diagrams. You can understand easily what is the left join, what is the right join. Okay, so something you struggle, anything, any subject. Okay, you go to the Google Images, type which one you feel, and you'll get some images. But it is not always a solution, but 90% it works. You'll get some images and read those images. See, instead of reading the whole drama of joins, here with these diagrams, I can easily understand, okay, left join is with this table, right join is this one, inner join is this one, full outer join is this one. So basically, this is how we can understand this. Okay. So not only this, anything you type, even tomorrow, if you're not understand the neural networks, even if you're not understand anything else, we can take, or else there is one more trick is there. You can go and type this one, SQL sheet. Okay. So it is where see, even if you, when I go and type here, you can see this SQL sheet is data science is showing. I told you one of the primary skill for the data science is the SQL. Okay. Of course, there are so many sheets are there. You can download this. Yeah, I think this is the one. Okay, I think you can download these sheets and put it in your own folder. I don't know how many of you created the one folder dedicatedly for these courses. Okay, you create one folder and keep everything there. SQL one folder, machine learning is one folder, and keep all these sheets, whatever the supported files, because we are going to deal with almost 200 tools in this entire journey. So definitely we need to maintain the proper file system in your local computer. So go and download these sheets, and if you are interested on the SQL. But if you can ask me, if you want to understand the Postgres and SQL, and one more is the Python, okay, you can go to this. This is the, where is the Python, guys? Yeah, this is the one, I think. You can go to this is with the Python. Okay, this link is with the Python. Here the query, whatever the code which I said, even procedures also calling how to call the procedures with the Python code, it is that, but you need to make a connection here, the cursor, and execute the procedure. Okay, you are making a call to the procedure and execute and pass the parameters if procedure is taking up, and finally you commit the and close the. And more importantly, I'm not done one step, guys, here, and that is the cursor close. Okay, I'm not closing the cursor here. Okay, yeah, you have to do the what is the name cursor here, pointer. Okay, pointer dot close. This is complete flow. And do you think is it enough? No. Tomorrow I will start with one programming called, we don't write code like this with the database. We write in different way. I will tell you how to write it. Okay.